This is such a gorgeous project, and here I have these handmade angel wings from air dry clay. Angels and angel wings symbolize purity, love, courage, hope, trust, faith, the servants of God, protection, harmony, devotion, and more. You could make these for loved ones who are with us or who have passed. These wings would make such gorgeous decorations in your home, and most definitely at Christmas time. So I would love to help you make them, and here's how. The first thing we need to do is condition the clay. So knead it and roll it and make it nice and soft so that we're ready to roll it out. I always roll and turn and roll and turn until we've got the thickness that we want, so that we're not forcing the clay into the board. And here I always use a tile, something that's a non-stick kind of tile. So it's a normal bathroom tile this. Sometimes you get air bubbles in it, and so all we need to do is just slit those and just keep on rolling, and then the air bubbles will release. And we want to get it to a thickness of approximately 6 millimeters for this. I have drawn myself a little template of the wings, and so I'm going to use this to cut around, and then if we want to make several we can make them all the same size this way. So you can use mine, which I've put in the description below, or you can draw your own and make it your own size and shape. So this is the basic wing shape that we're going to use, and just cut it round with a nice sharp knife. Take your time and do it as accurately as you can. Once you've cut the wings out, also cut out a little heart as well, as we're going to attach this on later. I forgot to cut it out of this piece, but I'll cut it out in a moment, and just remove the excess from the outer there. And there you've got your lovely wing shape, and we can smooth it out and get it ready to use. We really don't want to add too much water to the piece, as excess water can make the air dry clay crack. So we just get the smallest amount of water on our finger and we can go in and smooth out the edges. Once the air dry clay is fully dry, we can go in and sand it later, but I find if you get as much done as possible now, it's just a little bit easier and a little bit quicker as we go. And another alternative to using your finger, you can get a slightly damp brush and just go in, and you get a nice clean edge at the bottom if you use that, if you use the brush for this one. And the brush makes a really nice neat finish. The wings here are just a little bit wide on the base, so I'm going to tuck them in like the other one, and feel free to do that. It's quite a nice material that you can play around with quite a lot, air dry clay. Nice and soft and malleable, so I'm just releasing it from the tile here and I'm just making it into a lovely shape there. So we've got our basic shape with the template, but then you can mould it a little bit as you go. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to make the texture on the wings. So I'm going to take some more of the clay and roll it into a long thin sausage, and we're going to make those bits next. While you're not using the clay, if you just wrap it in a damp cloth, that just keeps the air off and just keeps it moist while you might come along and use the next. And if you have any jewellery on, do take that off. I should have taken my ring off there. I just turn it round and make sure it doesn't go in the stones bits. And so, as I say, just roll a nice long sausage and then pinch off some tear shape bits. So use your fingers and make a nice teardrop shape, and you can add a little bit of water, really not too much, and then we're going to attach this in place. You can score the base if you'd like to, but I'm going to use a tool, anything like the end of a paintbrush. You could use a chopstick, anything really. a toothpick kind of thing, and all we simply want to do is create an indent there. We can use our fingers and we can use the tool to blend that in and make sure that air dry clay is actually attaching and adhering to the bit underneath, because we don't want any of these bits falling off. So this whole process is about making those teardrop shapes and adding them in as we go. I like to work on mine symmetrically, so as I've put one on the left hand side, I will now go in and put on the right hand side, and I just think this works well and you get a nice even finish. So as I say, keep placing those teardrop shapes in, make an indent and really smooth that edge and that end in to the clay below, and then we make sure they adhere really nice and well there. It's helpful having this one here so we can see what we're working towards and see how the pieces all build up to make the design and the shape. It really is a beautiful project, and it's nice to not just do one where, like with the clay pins, where I just cut the shape out and paint them. It's really nice to get stuck in, get moulding, get blending this in and really being creative. So I do hope you're enjoying watching and that you'll have a go at making it yourself, because I think they really are beautiful. They turn out lovely. And even if yours turns out a little bit different, then perfect. It'll be wonderful, I'm sure, but just enjoy the process. As I go along, I've just been using the brush to just smooth out the little bits and things. So as you can see here, we're going to start working towards that centre. So every time I'm sort of working towards that centre line in the middle, the bit where the wings join together. As I say, use the brush and blend it together, and we're working in that direction towards the centre there. So we're going to blend to the middle, and again sort of curl it around a little, and we're going to blend into the middle, because don't worry what that centre section looks like too much at this stage, because we're going to add the heart in. And here I've got a slightly longer piece, and I'm going to blend that in like that to the centre in the middle again. And it really is lovely to work with this air dry clay. I absolutely love it. And again, another longer section, and you kind of overlap them just like this, build it up. If you do slightly smaller sausage shapes, then you'll just add more as you go, or obviously larger, if they're larger, you'll just have fewer. And so it might be nice to experiment, do some with some much smaller pieces, and you'll have a much more delicate looking piece. And so I'm going to mimic what we've just done on the left onto the right hand side here. Really blend that clay in and get it to adhere and stick to the clay below. And as long as we've got it on the tile, it is going to come off. But if you don't have a tile, you could use some greaseproof paper or something non-stick that you know that it will come off. Just don't do it on something that is a bit porous and will make it stick really hard to it. Anything non-porous you can work on, really. So I'm blending that in nicely, and I'm just building up my layers, and we're very nearly there. Just going to add some more onto the top of these ones in the centre to give a bit more detail. And as I say, you can put as many or as few as you like, or you can try and copy mine exactly if you can. So adding these ones in here, just guide the shapes and the sizes of them that you'd like, and try and layer them so that you can see what is below. I've done this one quite a bit thicker. As we said, we went 6 mils on the base, whereas the one with piece on here, I did that maybe about 3 mils. So it's just a little bit more delicate, but still quite robust. Use a straw or an end of a tool and just create a hole in the top of the wings there, and one also in the heart. Here's a simple star one that I made out of this cookie cutter, and I just put indents all around the side. I'll just leave the wings here to dry overnight, exactly where they are. And so it's been overnight now, and give it a slight twist very gently and evenly, and there it is, it's come off the base there, and you can see that it's still grey and wet at the bottom as expected. This will take maybe up to 3 days or more to dry fully, because it's a fairly thick, as you can see, it's fairly thick. As I said, I did this one a lot thinner, so it did take not so long to dry, but you know it's fully dry when it's fully white like the star is. And the little heart there, that one is almost dry because it's so thin. And we will add that into there when we're done, but we're going to paint it as well first. You can see it is starting to dry really well on the base here, it's going quite white, but I'm just going to turn it over and I'm going to leave it a bit longer so that the air can get around. So I've left mine quite a few days now, and here we have them perfectly dried out. And so what we need to do first of all is just take a little bit of sandpaper and just, if need be, just take off any little sharp bits or bits that have got like little bits of indents in that you don't want, and just gently with the softest sandpaper just take these off, and then just make sure you take a soft cloth and make sure you get rid of all bits of dust. And I think it's really looking stunningly beautiful already. And a little trick for the holes that we've made, just make a little cone out of your sandpaper and twist it in there, and we should get a perfect circle. And do this for both there. Once sanded and dust free, I give mine a coat of white acrylic paint and let it dry, and then give it another coat of white acrylic paint and let it dry fully again, and then we can go in with the paint of your choice. I wanted mine as a slight sort of concrete look, so I've got a very pale grey and an old paintbrush here with firmer bristles, and I'm simply going to dab it in and get it in kind of a mottled effect. The hard bristles of the brush just give it that kind of stippledy kind of concrete effect look, but obviously if you want to keep it white, it looks absolutely gorgeous white. If you want to give it some colour, then do that. And I'm going to go in with the white acrylic paint and just give in some extra little details there on the sides. And for this piece one, I thought maybe let's add a little glitter, so I've got my nail varnish that I haven't used for years, and I thought, well, let's see, I'm just going to tickle the edges there and give them a little bit of a shine and a sheen, and that really looks beautiful, so it gives it quite a different look. And then I take a Sharpie and just write the word of your choice on the heart. They then need to be protected and finished, and so we're going to do this. This time I'm going to use a Liquitex medium. I use different ones for different projects. This one's quite nice and easy because you can go in and paint it with the paintbrush. The spray lacquer is also a really good option. I've done another video all about the glazes of air dry clay, and I'm also going to do another video to see if I can make my air dry clay wings waterproof and see if we could put them outside. Thread the wings and the heart together with some pretty ribbon, and you can also add a bow like this too. I really enjoy making these air dry clay wings, and I really hope you have a go at making this too. It really is a lovely project. Thank you for watching, and please do come and see some more of my videos. And if you like them and you find them useful, please subscribe, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.